thought it was going to be closer. It was not.
Total masterclass from Stafford and Davante Adams.
Yeah, I said the last one was going to be close, so I think I'm just going to hold my tongue for now on this one.
I think both my head and heart are telling me the Rams. Hello, welcome to Football X's and O's, our weekly tactics show giving you the inside analysis on the best NFL matchups every Monday. We'll take a deeper dive into the Rams' 2017 overtime win over the Bears in the divisional round. I'm Ryan Stewart, alongside me is NFL expert David Scott. David, the Bears' magical playoff run is over, while the Rams advance to the championship game.
Yeah, this one really could have gone either way. It ends up going to the Rams in overtime, but oh boy, it was a ton of fun to watch.
Oh, it was such a thrilling game. So David, what topics do you have for us?
All right, we're talking about Winter Warriors. Caleb Williams and Matt Stafford dueled it out in the snow in Chicago. Matthew Stafford ends up getting the edge in this one. We're talking about the Moore the Merrier. DJ Moore had one of the earlier touchdowns. Nice little slant route. We'll talk about exactly what goes right. We're talking about a tight window tight end. You know Matt Stafford loves his tight ends, and he found Tyler Higbee a lot in this game. One clutch reception early in the first half. Talking about a clutch catch. Davante Adams probably wins this game with a sideline catch. Incredible throw and catch in this play. We're going to talk about exactly what goes on throughout the whole thing. And then we're talking about the Final Four. The championship games are set. Couple great teams fighting for the Super Bowl.
All right, let's get to the quarterbacks. Now, this is obviously frigid conditions, terrible conditions for a quarterback. So both these quarterbacks did have their struggles. But let's start with Caleb Williams. He was a loser, but at the same time, he had flashes here and there during this game.
Yeah, he looked really great at times, and he looked pretty bad at times. You look at the 3 turnovers, and that really hurts you throughout the game. They had moments where they could have scored, or they could have gotten in position to score, and Williams ends up throwing the ball away. I would credit him more for 2 turnovers. I think that game-losing interception in overtime wasn't really on him. We've talked about this. We think that DJ Moore slowed up on his route that really allowed the Rams defender to come in and snag that ball. But still, 2 turnovers in pretty critical spots. One of them came on 4th down when they could have kicked a field goal maybe, or get that first down to score. Another one in a similar situation. But you look at 417 total yards. He was all over the field, had that crazy heave at the end of the game to score and tie it. So I think he played pretty well despite those turnovers. He had the Bears in the game the entire time, gets them to overtime, gets them almost the win in overtime, but it just slips away from them.
Yeah, I feel like with the Bears, they were converting on 3rd downs, 9 of 19. But that's the thing, it was almost 20 third downs they had to try to convert in this game. So there were a lot of long drives, a lot of difficult 3rd downs for the Bears during this game. Did you like what you saw from Ben Johnson? Could there have been some, management decisions that he could have done better in this game?
Yeah, I think I would have leaned on the run a little bit more. I think I saw a lot of flashes where Kyle Monangai or DeAndre Swift were running the ball very well. Swift taking those outside runs that he does well, and then Monangai going through the tackles up the middle. They were running pretty well at times. I think they could have leaned on that more, especially when they got into overtime. I think throwing the ball in overtime when the ball is in your hands with only a field goal needed to win it, probably you should keep it on the ground, play it safe there rather than really trying to force it down the field. But even during the regulation time, I think the run game could have been used more. Obviously, we know Caleb Williams is a special talent, and he's got great arm strength and accuracy. He made some crazy throws. So I know why you want to utilize him and the special plays that he can do, but I certainly would have used the ground game a bit more.
All right, let's get to Matthew Stafford. Obviously, he didn't have his A game, but you know what? He hung in there. He didn't have any turnovers. I feel like that was the thing in this game. The Rams beat the Bears at their own game. The Bears are known for takeaways. 3 turnovers for the Bears, 0 for the Rams.
Yeah, when the Rams keep it clean, they usually win the game. That's how it goes. Matthew Stafford is a veteran. We know that he's probably going to be the MVP this year. And when he doesn't turn over the ball, which he doesn't do much, not many turnovers this year, just a few rough games, but when he doesn't turn over the ball, the Rams are going to win the game. And yeah, no interceptions. 340 total yards, which is good, but you got to account for the fact that there was overtime, so that inflates the stats a little bit. But he looked good, kept things clean, wasn't too crazy. He was missing with his guys every once in a while. There were some balls that definitely came close to being that turnover, but never ended up actually turning the ball over. So I think he played a very clean game. I think that's why the Rams won this game, and I think that's why they've got a chance to go to the Super Bowl now.
And for the Bears, when you saw Stafford struggle, they were blitzing, Bears. I said it entering. I didn't like the Bears defense entering this game, but what they did to, combat their not so great defense, they were blitzing Stafford, and they were actually getting to him. They weren't getting too many sacks on him, but there was a lot of rush throws and a lot of inaccurate passes, which led to the not-so-great stat line for Stafford.
Yeah, the Bears started pulling out something that we haven't really seen from them throughout the regular season, which is using the secondary on the blitz. So bringing down a guy like Jaquan Brisker from the safety position to come around the edge and get to Stafford. He got a lot of hits on Stafford. He got 1 sack in this game, but he was putting a lot of pressure on bringing that secondary blitz. Now, you run a risk when you do that of, all right, if they get the ball out quick enough, you got no help down the field. But they were able to effectively use it to the point where Stafford had to get the ball out frantically, and it ends up resulting in pressures. And that's why the Rams didn't score too many points in this game. So I think that was a really effective play call from the Bears defense. It ends up not working. But at the same time, when you hold the Rams to the amount of points that you did, I think it's pretty successful. And again, I've said it a couple times now, they were that close to beating the Rams.
Yeah.
It just fell out of reach.
Yeah, definitely. And they had more yards than the Rams, and they find a way to lose this game. All right, let's get to the plays. Rams are up 7-0. Start of the second quarter. The Bears have the football. 4th and goal at the 3-yard line, and Caleb Williams finds DJ Moore for the touchdown.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple play all around, but it's going to utilize something that I like to see. It's kind of hard to pull off. Starting on the defense here, this is just straight man coverage. There is nothing special about this defense. We're in the red zone. We're just getting on our man and making sure they don't beat us. But the Bears are going to beat the Rams on this play by using something called a natural pick. Now, a pick is, if you run a pick, most of the time it's pass interference, either if it's on the defense or the offense. But if you run a natural pick correctly, that's how you get away with it. So what you have to do is, we've got our tight end or wide receiver here who's going to come across the play while DJ Moore is coming on his slant. Now, what you want to do is basically run over the defending player. So the corner that's trailing DJ Moore, this guy's job, his whole job is just to run into him. Now, you got to do this very specifically. If you run into your man and run a basketball screen and stop and make it clear that you're blocking this guy, offensive pass interference. That's a penalty. However, if you run your route, throw the shoulder into him and keep running, fair game. You could knock a guy off however you want. That's what they do. They run their natural pick. Moore's defender gets bumped just enough to put him behind him. Moore gets open, easy score over the middle. Natural pick play, awesome when it works. A lot of times it doesn't work, though.
Oh, it doesn't work because maybe the defender sacks the quarterback, because that was an awful lot of time for Williams to stand in that pocket. But I really liked with Williams in this play where he backs up a little bit. He sees the guys coming at him, and if he stays in the pocket a little bit, he's probably getting sacked. But he had to go a little bit back and then throw the football. Yeah,
Caleb Williams, I think, is one of the most aware quarterbacks in the pocket. He's got a very, very good pocket presence. He knows when to step up in the pocket. He knows when to bail on it when there's too much pressure. And this play is perfect. Steps back a little bit, lets this play develop. Because, when you're running that pick out there, you need a little bit of time for it to develop so that Moore can get from his wide spot on the field to the center of the field. So Williams understands the pressure around him, moves to where he needs to be so that he doesn't take a sack, gets the ball in there for the touchdown.
And I like Ben Johnson. He likes to go for on 4th down, so I just respect Ben and his play call to get this touchdown. And like you said with Moore, I think that was a really good play from Ben Johnson to have him open. A lot of time for Williams to be in that pocket, but a good throw.
Yeah. I think one of the main factors of Ben Johnson's offense is scheming guys open. So not them getting themselves open, the play call and the scheme working them open, so the routes or the special plays going on or the trick plays end up getting guys open without them having to do the work on their own. They have talented guys who can get themselves open, but scheming guys open is, I think, something that Ben Johnson really prides himself on.
All right, let's get to the second play. Let's get to a little bit less than a minute left in the second quarter. The Bears are up 10-7. Rams have the football, 2nd and 3 at their own 27, and Matthew Stafford hits Tyler Higbee for a 27-yard gain.
Yeah, this is a big play to make sure that you don't go into halftime losing the game, and they end up kicking the field goal and tying the game as a result of this play. Same thing as the last play. We're looking at just pure man coverage here from the defense. Now, I think they're showing a zone here based on how they're standing to make it look like they might be in a zone. But once the ball is snapped, everyone goes down to their man and follows them throughout the play. Now, what Higbee is doing here is it almost looked like some sort of wheel route coming from the tight end position where he's going to go sort of in the flat and then turn himself up the field. And he beats his guy just enough for Stafford to get this ball in here. If you watch this play, it is as tight of a window as it can get. Really, he feeds it right over the defender's shoulder, right over Higbee's shoulder, into his arms. Great hands from Higbee, better pass from Stafford, and then way to hold on to it from Higbee because he's got the guy right on him. I think Higbee throws in a bit of a double move here to try and throw his guy off as well, which is pretty cool coming from a tight end, but I really just like the route, kind of incorporating a wheel route, which usually comes from the running back position, into your tight end to get a nice deep play down the field.
I love McVay and Stafford for trusting Tyler Higbee in this play. I mean, we don't think of Higbee as one of the best tight ends in the league, but for him to make this catch, I think they put a lot of trust in Higbee in this play.
Yeah, Higbee's been a Ram for a long time. He is one of the longest tenured players on this team. He is a true veteran, and he doesn't get used all that much. You look at the rotation of tight ends that they've got there, Higbee, Parkinson, they throw in more guys. Sometimes they're running 3 tight ends on the field. They really rotate their guys, but when they really need someone reliable to make a catch, Higbee can get out there and do it for you every time. He's great at these contested catches. He's got good hands. He's a pretty good route runner, too, as you see from this play. So, listen, you got to trust your guys, and Stafford, I think, is always going to trust a guy like Higbee to make the catch when he needs him to.
Yeah, I think the Rams caught, the defense by surprise with Higbee, knowing that there's other, dominant wide receivers, Puka, Davante on the field in this play. And Stafford, I mean, the accuracy was just full on display. I mean, that was just a perfect throw in this play.
Yeah, a perfect throw, and you're right. With other guys on the field, it probably catches you off guard because you're not expecting Tyler Higbee to be the one who's going way downfield. You figure Puka or Davante Adams is going to go make that contested catch, but rather it's your tight end, and it's awesome all around. Stafford, that throw, that's why he's going to be the MVP. Throws like that. He's been doing it his whole career. I hope he finally gets the recognition for it. This is a connection why they're in the NFC Championship game, why they could make the Super Bowl, why Stafford could win his second Super Bowl. You could just roll the list on and on.
And the defense, they weren't blitzing on this play, so that's what I was saying. When they're not blitzing, I feel like the pass rush from the Bears is kind of lacking in my opinion.
Yeah, it's tough because you know that you can get pressure on Stafford if you're going to bring those blitzes, but how often can you really bring those blitzes? You look at a defense like the Houston Texans who are getting pressure constantly while only running 4 guys, but meanwhile the Bears, they have to bring 6 to 8 guys on a blitz in order to get pressure on Stafford. When he had time in the pocket, he was excellent, and he was, connecting on these, pin-perfect throws down the field. So the Bears, they recognized that they had to get that pressure on him, and they did well when they did get the pressure on him. But Stafford was picking the plays properly when he needed to. When he saw that there wasn't pressure, used his time in the pocket, scanned the field, found a deep connection instead of just going ticky-tacky down the field, results in them tying the game.
All right, let's fast forward to overtime. It's a tie game, 17-17. The Rams have the football. A field goal wins the game. 1st and 10 at their own 41-yard line, and Matthew Stafford fires a bullet to Davante Adams for 12 yards.
Yeah, this one is probably the play that wins you the game. And you go to your most reliable receiver. I know Puka Nacua is on this team, but I think in the critical moments, we've seen Matt Stafford go to Davante Adams. He's always going to him in the red zone. He's always going to him when he needs a big catch. And it happens here in overtime. So same thing as the last 2. Pure man coverage. Just get on your guy and make sure they don't beat you. Adams is going to beat his corner because he's doing kind of a deep comeback route. And I love this kind of route because you really are deceiving your corner here. Adams is going full sprint down the field. All right, deep ball. Let's go. Stafford's trying to win the game right now. Adams is going to stop on a dime, turn back around towards the sideline. So now he's coming back. Stafford has to anticipate this. This is a veteran connection here. 2 guys that are going to be Hall of Famers. Once he sees him coming back, he's got to put the ball perfectly where Adams is going to end up being and where the corner can't come and get it. And that ball pretty much ends up being out of bounds. And what Adams has to do is get down, catch the ball while he's going down, get his feet in bounds, and make sure he doesn't juggle the ball. We saw the ball bobble a little bit on replays, but he held on to it, gets the feet down. I mean, perfect in every way when you need it most. You got to get across midfield to at least get into field goal range so you can win this game. You get over midfield with this play, you can really just churn out your plays to get closer into field goal range to end up getting to the NFC Championship game. I wouldn't want anyone other than Adams catching this ball in this situation.
Definitely. I mean, this type of play, these 2 guys probably going to make the Hall of Fame most likely. This is a type of play you put on their Hall of Fame video. I mean, this was just pure class. I mean, Davante Adams, they had to review this play to see if he actually caught this ball, and he did. So this was just total masterclass from Stafford and Davante Adams. The connection is just always going to be there.
Yeah, this is one of those plays where you do that Super Bowl rewind tape after they potentially win, and this is going to be one of those key moments that got them there. Stafford, we talked about how he didn't look perfect throughout the game, but when there's not pressure on him, and also when he's in those big moments, he's going to find the play always. I'm sure he could have hit someone else on the field somewhere here to get the ball moving forward. but he finds Adams for that big gainer, for that real tone setter to end up winning the game. Now, of course, there were plays after this. They had to, complete a few more plays to get down the field.
Yeah, another one's a Puka Nacua.
Yep. But this is the one that really solidified it for me. Like, you get a big gain, you move across midfield, that puts the pressure on the defense. They know we got to get a 3 and out here or a sack. They are not able to do it, so they're going to lose the game. You strike a little fear in them with a crazy little comeback like this on the sideline, nice little catch, and that's just it. That's game over.
Oh, and Matthew Stafford, I mean, we've already complimented him, but his feet aren't even lined up, to the, intended target. So for him to have, it's not the perfect mechanics, obviously, the, terrible weather conditions, just for him to make that accurate football. He's one of the best accurate football throwers, in my opinion, in the game.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best passer in football right now, just from a pure arm talent and awareness point of view. The ball is always where it needs to be. If it's off target or an interception, half the time it's off a guy's hands. I would trust him to make any throw. I think if you needed any throw at any time, Matt Stafford is the guy I would pick. And I know we've been propping him up the entire season. We've picked him MVP forever, but it really is true. He is right now the best quarterback in the game. He's had a renaissance, not even a renaissance, but he's been great throughout his whole career, but he's really getting his flowers right now, and I think he deserves them. And it's a throw like this that really shows you why he deserves them.
Hey, the facts don't lie, 46 passing touchdowns throughout the year. All right, let's get to the championship games. We got the Rams-Seahawks. That should be a classic game. And then also the Patriots-Broncos. But unfortunately, the Broncos do not have Bo Nix for the rest of the season. Let's start with the Rams-Seahawks. We saw a great game by the two of them, an overtime game. The Seahawks came away with the win. And this is going to be at home once again. So what do you think is going to happen with this game?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Rams. The Seahawks have shown that home field is real good for them. That game against the 49ers definitely blew me away. I thought it was going to be closer. It was not at all. It was not close at all. Listen, I don't want to count the Rams out ever, and we haven't been counting them out, and we've picked them as Super Bowl favorites for a long time. But I watched that Seahawks team, and boy, did that defense look good. And that offense looked, just fine. The running game looked really good. Kenneth Walker had over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sam Darnold did, just enough, all he had to do to keep the offense rolling. The Rams have a tall task on their hands. Going on the road, another cold weather environment, the loudest stadium in the NFL. It's going to be a tough task. I find this one really hard to pick. I really do. And my heart wants me to keep going with the Rams, but my head's telling me you got to go with the Seahawks. So right now, honestly, I don't know. I think I might need more time to think it over. Maybe we'll find out and ain't that our ball.
Yeah, definitely. And I think both my head and heart are telling me the Rams. I don't know why. That offense, I think they'll be just fine. I mean, Matthew Stafford had only 450-plus passing yards against the Seahawks defense. Probably not going to happen again, but hey, I still trust Stafford and co. But at the same time for the Seahawks, they don't even need Sam Darnold to be on 100%. You saw it in that 49ers game. They were just relying on that defense and the running game to get them moving forward.
Yeah, defense, running game, special teams, everything was clicking for the Seahawks. And now, worth mentioning, the 49ers are an absolutely broken team.
Yeah,
no George
depleted.
Kittle. Their backup Tonjes gets hurt too. The defense destroyed. No Fred Warner. No Nick Bosa. Issues everywhere. It's a miracle they even got to this point in the season. So good for them for getting this far. The power plant in San Francisco ends up biting them in the end. But yeah, so Seahawks definitely had an advantage there just from a personnel point of view, that there were so many injuries for the 49ers. At the same time, you don't just put up 40, 50 points on anyone. So yeah. Still, very impressive from them. What can the Rams do to counter that? How is their defense going to recognize what the Seahawks did and counter that? How is the Rams offense going to see what the 49ers did wrong and then adjust on that? We're going to have to find out. I think the Rams offense is much better than the 49ers. I don't know how much better their defense is. I think their defense is a lot healthier, and they've shown that they can, hold back tough teams. We saw it in the Bears game. They held them to 17 points. Cold weather game there as well. So I think get pressure on Sam Darnold, plug up those running holes. We might have a game on our hands.
Definitely, and I think JSN is obviously the guy that you have to be worried about as well. I just think with the Rams defense, they were just stopping the Bears on 4th down repeatedly, so I got to give them a lot of credit. I think they're a better defense than the 49ers, and hey, I think this will be a close one. I think the Rams are going to find a way. I don't know how, but at the same time, I don't think I can ever, discredit Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Davante Adams, Kyren Williams. The list goes on. I like those guys more than the Seahawks' skilled players.
Yeah, I said the last one was going to be close, so I think I'm just going to hold my tongue for now on this one and maybe not do any sort of score prediction. But yeah, it's a toss-up for me right now. I really can't say either way, unlike the other game, which we all probably know is not going to be a toss-up.
We'll see. Hey, let's get to the Broncos-Patriots. This would have been such a great game if Bo Nix could play in this game, but unfortunately he's out for the year. They have Jarrett Stidham starting for Denver. Let's talk about the Patriots. They have 2 great wins. They played well against the Houston great defense. So what do you think from the Patriots' point of view?
I think the only point of view is that they're going to win this game. I know the Broncos have a very good defense, and Bo Nix going down does not affect the defense, but the Patriots played pretty well against the Texans, who have the best defense in the NFL. Now, Drake Maye did not look good by any means.
The fumbles, yeah.
Yeah, let's make that clear. He didn't look all that good. I think just the fact that C.J. Stroud was so bad really just gave him a better PR on this one. But yeah, he did not look good against a really good defense, fumbling the ball, turnovers. So that's something to note. The Broncos have a great defense, so they're going to put similar pressure on him. But at the same time, anytime the defense does something well, I don't see the offense being able to counter it. Jarrett Stidham has not started a football game in 3 or 4 years. He's got 4 starts in his entire career. Hasn't started a game this year. That's a recipe for a loss.
Yeah, it might be tough for the Broncos, especially we have no idea what Jarrett Stidham can do. And the Patriots defense, they've only given up 1 touchdown in 2 games. So that's going to be a tough task for the Broncos, who I don't think Sean Payton can tell you that he trusts his quarterback, but deep down inside, he probably doesn't even know what he's getting from Stidham.
Yeah, if the Broncos had Bo Nix in this game, I think I would pick with the Broncos. I like what they've done all season. I think their defense is good, and I think Bo Nix has been capable enough to get that offense going forward. No Bo Nix, I'm not really going to give him a chance. And I'm sure when the Broncos end up winning, this will be clipped. But yeah, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, it'll be tough. I mean, I think they're going to have to give Stidham a lot of easy passes, play action, but the run game, I think that's the thing. Yeah, like when you're down, you can't really use the run game too much, but I think R.J. Harvey, McLaughlin, those guys in the running game, they have to get things going to start things off against the Patriots defense.
Yeah, and it's tough because the Broncos really don't have that great of a run game either.
Yeah.
R.J. Harvey's been solid this year, but J.K. Dobbins was really their guy. He went down with the injury for the rest of the season, and Harvey has been serviceable, but he hasn't been incredible. So if the run game can't get going, and if Stidham is less than superb, then I think this is a Patriots win.
I think they're going to have to use the same type of recipe. They didn't work out for Houston, but the defense, they need to get some takeaways from Drake Maye. And if they're not going to do that, I think it's probably lights out for them.
Might need a couple defensive touchdowns, too.
All right, that's going to wrap things up here at Football X's and O's. You can catch us every Monday. We also have 8th Hour Bowl every Thursday. Please like and subscribe and let us know in the comments who you think are going to win the championship games.